Hello, everyone. It is the 99th episode of Superhero Deep Dive. One more. Next week, we will have the 100th episode extravaganza. Ha! So, 99 super deep dives. I don't know any other word. You should all subscribe to my YouTube channel because I got banned. I was posting stupid memes and it caught up with me and they got mad. Okay, that's all I've got for that. Let me get my normal disclaimers out of the way and we'll get into it. So the information is pulled from different sources across the internet and may or may not be completely complete, but they do give a really good insight on the current superhero. Also, feel free to catch me every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the day on Outworld Fleet Radio. Their website is www.un-con-ventional.com/radio. You can email me directly at b4itall, so b4itall @yahoo.com. You can catch me on Twitter and Instagram under Super Deep Dive, and you can catch me on YouTube under Superhero Deep Dive. Now, as far as that whole banning on YouTube thing, I did get a community strike because I was posting memes up and someone did not like the memes I posted. It was a drunk guy that fell off the roof of a bar and they complained that they could see blood, so I got a warning for that. And then the next day, I think it was some kid maybe lit his fart on fire or they were spitting fire into alcohol and they caught their chin on fire, but they were okay. But they reported it, got a strike, got myself banned for a week, so if you are watching on YouTube, I'm sorry that this is coming in a day or two late. Yeah, I had to get past that week ban so I can post again, but I won't be posting up things like that. I will be posting superhero memes though, because those have been pretty safe safe so far, and I don't want to get in any more trouble. All right, this week I am going to be talking about Squirrel Girl. She is one of my favorite heroes. I actually had the first issue she appeared in, where she teamed up with Iron Man and beat Dr. Doom. She looks completely different. She's gone through 2 major look remakes. So it's kind of crazy. I even posted up a poll recently on Instagram, on my personal Facebook page, and on the YouTube community, asking if they preferred the thinner or thicker one. The thicker Squirrel Girl got a large response, and I think that's cool. Personally, I liked her thinner and more muscular looking, more toned, because I would just imagine that being an acrobatic kind of superhero, it would work, but to each their own, and I respect everyone's opinion. It's just crazy how she was manipulated back and forth on that. But let's get into her. Into her profile, I guess. So her real name is Doreen Green, and she was born to Dorian and Maureen Green in Canada. When she was 10 years old, Doreen discovered she could communicate with squirrels, and she suffered a modification in her genes for unknown reasons that granted her squirrel-like abilities, which manifested predominantly as a prehensile tail. When her parents consulted a doctor, it was determined that Doreen was not a mutant, even though she believed so for a long time. She is first seen as Squirrel Girl ambushing Iron Man in a forest, hoping to impress the hero and become a sidekick. At that time, she was 14 years old, and she introduced herself and her pet squirrel, Monkey Joe, and displays her squirrel-themed abilities. After she rescues Iron Man from Dr. Doom with the help of a horde of squirrels, Iron Man says she is too young to fight crime, but that he will put in a good word for her to the Avengers when she gets older. So years later, she moved to New York City, and Squirrel Girl joins the Great Lakes Avengers. She introduces each issue of the team's miniseries, providing an opinion about the contents of the series. Her sidekick Monkey Joe also trains the team and comments upon the series as well. He is later killed by Leatherboy, a rejected GLA member, which is Great Lakes Avengers, who is disguised as Dr. Doom. Enraged by the death of her friend, Squirrel Girl assembles a squirrel army to stop the villain Maelstrom. She finds a new squirrel companion during this battle, and the only one of her squirrel army who survived. Doreen names her Tippy Toe. After receiving the subpoena from the Avengers and discovering that her teammates are all mutants, the team renames themselves the Great Lakes X-Men, complete with new costumes. During the Great Lakes Xmas special, Squirrel Girl and Tippy Toad defeat the supervillains MODOK, Terex, and Thanos, and S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Dum Dum Dugan tries to recruit her, explaining that the organization had been watching her for some time. Doreen declines the offer, saying that she is happy with the Great Lakes X-Men. After helping the Thing defeat Beast, I don't know. Squirrel Girl was invited to the annual Superheroes Poker Tournament and brought the team with her. In the end, Flatman won the tournament with a straight flush, beating the Thing's 4 fours. Man, that was fantastic. Alright, after being discouraged from using the names X-Men and Defenders by members of those teams present at the tournament, and since Flatman was the champion of the tournament, the team renamed themselves Great Lakes Champions, despite protests from former champions of Los Angeles member Hercules. During the Civil War crossover storyline, Squirrel Girl and the Great Lakes Champions registered under the Superhuman Registration Act, which in the MCU would be the same as the Sokovia Accords. Just so you know. As revealed when Deadpool attempted to apprehend them for violating the act, only to be defeated and informed that they had already registered. Under the Registration Act, Squirrel Girl remains a member of the again renamed Great Lakes Initiative this time. So, Squirrel Girl and the Great Lakes Initiative, along with Deadpool, are sent to save Dionysus after he fell from Mount Olympus and was captured by AIM, who is Advanced Idea Mechanics. That's kind of the idea of the supervillains in Iron Man 2, who plan to use his powers to cause mental not Iron Man 2, I'm sorry, Iron Man 3. Iron Man 2 was Whiplash. But who plan to use his powers to cause mental instability in superheroes they consider a threat. After their victory, Squirrel Girl helps Dionysus back to Olympus, and to his own bed to sleep it off. And it's later revealed that she is a fan of the superhero team, the New Warriors, especially Robbie Baldwin, known as Speedball, on whom she has a crush, and we've also done a superhero deep dive on him. I encourage you to check it out because he is amazing. And the two heroes eventually share a kiss. Not bad, Speedball. Alright, Squirrel Girl convinces Dr. Doom to let her use a time machine to prevent Speedball from becoming the guilt-plagued hero penance, and the device instead takes her into the year 2099, where she encounters an alternate future version of Speedball, whom she unsuccessfully tries to have return with her to her present day. She also encounters a future version of Mr. Immortal, who convinces her to kick Deadpool out of the team, which she does after returning to her own time. Now, during the Secret Invasion storyline, the team confronted a Skrull disguised as Grasshopper, with the help from Gravity and Catwalk. They later appeared to welcome Gravity as leader of the team after he was transferred to Wisconsin by Norman Osborn. After defeating Fin Fang Foom and finding little support from her teammates on the again renamed Great Lakes Avengers, whom she believes to have her shoulder most of their work, she believes she's shouldering most of their work, she exits the group. When Luke Cage and Jessica Jones seek a nanny for their daughter Danielle, they hire Squirrel Girl, and it's also revealed that Doreen had a brief relationship with Wolverine, who was then a member of the New Avengers, which did not end happily. We may need to do a study on this, because that's kind of messed up. Like, she's not that old, and Wolverine has a history of messing with considerably younger women than him. He needs to stop. Like, that's just disturbing. During the Spider Island storyline, Danielle gains superpowers, or she gains spider powers, and this is Luke Cage and Jessica Jones' daughter. During the Fear Itself storyline, Squirrel Girl runs into the mansion to pick up Danielle while New York is attacked by the Thule Society. Upon arriving in the mansion, she and Daredevil protect Danielle while fighting Thule Society soldiers. Okay, she later helps the New Avengers fight the Revengers, Hammer, and the Dark Avengers. When Luke Cage and Jessica Jones leave the team, Squirrel Girl follows them as Danielle's nanny. Since then, she and Tippy Toe have rejoined the team in the wake of the Secret Wars. And Doreen begins her college career at Empire State University at this point, majoring in computer science. So let's say, if she is following the normal high school tropes, or normal kid tropes, she's about 18 to 20 going into college. Okay, so keep that in mind because Wolverine's gross at this point. Alright, let's see here. Okay, she majors in computer science, and upon arriving, she ends up fighting Craven the Hunter, who was lashing out at the local squirrels, including Tippy Toe, whom he caught and was about to kill. She stops him by informing him of the existence of sea monsters like Giganto and challenges him to hunt them. Later, she discovers that Galactus is heading to Earth to devour it, and she steals Iron Man's armor and heads to the moon with Tippy Toe. On their way, they defeat Whiplash, who had attacked Squirrel Girl, mistaking her for Iron Man, and she and Tippy Toe surprisingly befriend Galactus instead of fighting him, and afterwards tell him of a planet that could sustain him even better than the Earth. The planet is devoid of intelligent life, but rich in nuts, which Galactus has developed a new liking for. It's good protein, right? He then sends the two back home, and he leaves the Earth to live another day. When she arrives back home, her roommate Nancy Whitehead tells her that she has figured out that she is a superhero and promises not to tell anyone, the two becoming good friends. Later, Squirrel Girl and the other superheroes defeat Mysterion, who was attacking Liberty Island with an army of robot dinosaurs. Shortly thereafter, while attempting to stop Hippo from robbing a bank, she meets Chipmunk Hunk and Koi Boy. I'm sorry, I love those names. Chipmunk Hunk and Koi Boy, both of whom have the ability to speak to different animals. Nancy reveals their secret identities as Thomas Lara Perez and Ken Shiga, respectively. And since she easily recognized them under their masks, they later encounter a monstrous Asgardian squirrel god, Ratatoskr, Ratatoskr, who had been causing mayhem on the city by trash-talking the citizens during their sleep, but is defeated with the help from Loki and the current and former Thor. During their second year of college, Doreen and Nancy encounter Brain Drain and quickly defeat him due to his extremely outdated technology and crucial design flaws. Upon realizing that he did not have a choice about his evil actions due to his programming, Doreen and Nancy updated his technology to modern standards. When he awakens, Brain Drain reveals that he intended to reform and ends up enrolling at Empire State University to take computer science courses. Later, she and her classmates get sent back in time to the 1960s by fellow student Cody, who sent them away from the present time in order to curb his grade. And Nancy, the only person who remembers Doreen's existence, goes back to rescue her along with the past version of Dr. Doom, who then learns he'll successfully take over the world thanks to a copy of Wikipedia on Nancy's phone. Wow. Okay. In the present day, Cody wakes up to a Dr. Doom dystopia and takes himself back to 1960s with an older, future Doreen to help fight Doom. Doreen defeats Doom by repeatedly using Cody's time machine to send herself a day before the fight, creating a small army of Squirrel Girls that swarm Doom and force him to give up. Doreen and the students are sent back to the present, while future Doreen stays behind and continues to foil Doom schemes. One of the Doombots manages to survive and becomes obsessed with living a normal human life. He later ends up hiring and then facing off against Gwenpool in an attempt to remove a group of aliens that are hunting her from the planet. After changing his plans upon deciding that Gwen herself is a bigger threat, he tries to team up with the aliens to destroy her. This backfires and she forces him to fight the aliens by threatening the kind elderly neighbors, and he capitulates, I can't read that word, and to his horror gets the credit for destroying the aliens and becomes a media sensation as everyone wonders what heroics he will do next, ruining his idealistic normal life. Wow. Okay, so that was a tangent I didn't necessarily plan on going to, but it was kind of funny and, whatever. It's the 99th episode. It's okay. Alright. Later, Squirrel Girl gets jealous when her crush, Chipmunk Hunk, starts dating a classmate named Mary. Nancy, Tippy Toe, and Koi Boy help set her up an online dating profile, which leads to many unsuccessful dates, one of which ends with an encounter with the Mole Man, who is angered by how Doreen's earlier suggestions to Craven has affected his home. Doreen apologizes to him and the two have a conversation about his situation, leading the Mole Man to proposing to Doreen on the spot and a number of follow-up schemes to get Doreen to go back on a date with him. He threatens to bury a number of worldwide landmarks if she doesn't date him, and after Nancy is nearly kidnapped by him and being swarmed by the media, she goes to confront Mole Man only to find that the Tricephalus is in love with him. Doreen lets the beast defeat her to woo Mole Man and get him off her back for good, and decides that dating isn't right for her at the moment after seeing that Mary is a nice fit for Chipmunk Hunk. By the way, I will not be doing a deep dive on Chipmunk Hunk or Koi Boy. Just so you know, I'm not doing it. Alright, Squirrel Girl also had an alternate version of herself due to time travel running around for decades, interfering with Dr. Doom's plans. As a result, she released an AI Doombot that eventually became Gwenpool's nemesis, Vincent Doonan. They later reconcile, and at Gwen's insistence, he even let Squirrel Girl examine him for her computer class. She then follows Gwenpool to hell to rescue her brother Teddy Pool as they defeat Mephisto. While there though, Gwen points out that in the Marvel Universe, the devil is very real and punchable, suggesting that heroes should do so all the time, confusing Squirrel Girl. Running out of pages, Gwen then leaves, getting Teddy back to Earth with her, and runs off to do other things before her comic comes to an end. Another alternate version of Squirrel Girl is created when Doreen falls into a piece of technology which Tony Stark had obtained from the High Evolutionary. The clone is nicknamed Eileen. I'm assuming it's Allene, so I'm just going to say Eileen. And is like Doreen in most every way, except she is lacking in the restraint and empathy which largely defines Doreen's career as a superhero. Eileen strives to create a world where squirrels are the dominant species, sending an army of squirrels into the cloning device to rid them of their restraint and imprisoning every superhero who stands in their way to the negative zone. Or she throws them in the negative zone, I'm sorry. When Doreen gives her last effort to appeal to Eileen's humanity, Eileen instead banishes Doreen to the moon, where a dying Doreen summons Thor's hammer Mjolnir, becoming Squirrel Thor. Because, yeah. After freeing all the heroes from the negative zone, Doreen relinquishes Mjolnir, and Eileen willingly banishes herself and her squirrel army into the negative zone, where they shape it into the squirrel-centric utopia she had strived to create in the first place. Doreen and her friends would go on to visit Eileen in the negative zone on later occasions. Squirrel Girl later becomes a member of the US Avengers. She later receives a wealthy benefactor in Melissa Morbeck, a woman who can talk to animals, who gives Doreen a new flying squirrel suit. Morbeck is quickly revealed to be a supervillain, however, who uses technology to exert sadistic control over animals and unleashes an army of insects and wild animals into the city. Disguising one of her animal minions as Dr. Doom, while Squirrel Girl, Chipmunk Hunk, and Koi Boy subdue the animal army, Nancy and Mary set off an electromagnetic pulse to disable Morbeck's control over the animals, leading to her arrest. Later stories see Squirrel Girl traveling to the Savage Land in outer space, where she clashes with Loki, Drax the Destroyer, and the Silver Surfer. After she returns home, a clash in a small-time live-streaming criminal inadvertently sends Doreen and Nancy into hypertime, where she spent the next weekend growing old together as they rid crime of the city, take up various hobbies, and eventually develop the technology to send themselves back into regular time, but not before writing a note to their younger selves. They then revert to their normal ages and lose all memory of their life in hypertime, with only the note to remember it by. That seems kind of lame, not gonna lie. I like the creativity, but just seems kind of lame. Alright. While visiting Eileen in the negative zone, Squirrel Girl is summoned by Loki to help fight the Frost Giants in the War of the Realms. There she once again encounters Retadask, with whom she clashes, yet eventually forms an unlikely, if uneasy, alliance. Afterwards, Melissa Morbeck returns with an alliance of supervillains, which includes Doctor Doom, MODOK, Leader, and Whiplash, to enact revenge on Squirrel Girl, kidnapping Brain Drain, stealing Iron Man's armor, attacking Doreen's apartment, and finally publicly leaking her identity. Several heroes and villains from across the Marvel Universe come to Squirrel Girl's aid, including Kraven the Hunter, the Rat God, Retesk, or whatever, the Rhino, Mole Man, Tony Stark, and eventually Galactus, who uses the power cosmic to teleport away Morbeck and her allies and return Stark his armor. Afterwards, Stark publicly broadcasts a video which celebrates Squirrel Girl's various achievements. And in the aftermath of the attack on her apartment, which leaked her identity, Squirrel Girl hosts an AM broadcast call-in show where she answers questions regarding what it's like to be a superhero. She's joined by her friends Tippy T. Squirrel, Nancy Whitehead, Coy Boy Chipmunk Kunk, and Brain Drain. Wow. What a history, right? Like, that is a huge bio. She's done so much. And she's not that old of a character. I don't know if I have the date of it. But I mean, she's not terribly old of a character, relatively speaking. But man, people just love writing her, and it's great. I gotta say, I'm not a fan of all the stories, but I do absolutely love the fact that they are having fun with it, and you can tell the writers are having fun with it because she's just doing stuff like that. So let me know what you guys think. Like I said, you can email me at b4itall@yahoo.com. You can comment, like, subscribe on YouTube when it finally comes up, or you can send me a DM or a comment on Instagram or Twitter under Super Deep Dive, and I use the hashtag superherodeepdive. But let's get into her powers. Now, during Squirrel Girl's first encounter with Iron Man, she provided a detailed demonstration of her powers and abilities. She has a furry prehensile tail, roughly 3 to 4 feet long, sizable buck teeth strong enough to chew through wood, and superhuman strength and agility, which allows her to easily jump between trees. Her fingers have sharp claws that assist her with climbing, and she possesses a retractable knuckle spike, roughly 2 to 3 inches long on each hand. Most importantly, she can communicate with and understand squirrels, but does not do this telepathically. Squirrels have also been depicted as understanding her when she speaks in English. Later appearances have revealed additional abilities, which include heightened reflexes, which she dubs as squirrel agility, vision. Her eyes have been seen to glow red in low light situations, and she has also at times displayed an enhanced sense of smell. Squirrel Girl has also revealed that her lips taste like hazelnuts, which is my favorite coffee, by the way, so that's kind of awesome. Though this attribute has since been retconned by unbeatable Squirrel Girl writer Ryan North, which sucks. She is also a superb hand-to-hand combatant, capable of taking down Wolverine in a 1-to-1 no-claws fight. Squirrel Girl also carries a utility belt, comprising of multiple pouches that contain nuts to give as snacks to her squirrel friends. These are known humorously as her nut sacks. I'm sorry. When I read this the first time, I giggled, and I was like, I'm not going to giggle next time, and sure enough, I did. It was originally unknown whether the black markings around her eyes are the result of her mutation or cosmetically applied to enhance her squirrel-themed appearance, although they did not appear to smear when she was crying. And in New Avengers Annual 1, she is shown in casual clothes lacking these markings, so it's obviously cosmetic. Squirrel Girl is shown carrying a full set of Iron Man vs. Series battle cards, which she uses to show Dum Dum Dugan how she knows him. She mentioned Dugan as a defense stat of 8, where her own is 6, although the rating system is left unclear. After MODOK is pointed out to her, she consults the supervillain's own card to confirm his abilities. The printing on the 2 cards shown, which is Dugan's and MODOK's, is actually gibberish, And in her solo series, The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, she has a set of Deadpool's Guide to Supervillains cards to help her identify villains and their possible weaknesses. The writing on these are legible and tend to contain both valuable information as well as comedic jokes about her opponents. She only owns the supervillain set, though some anti-heroes such as Ant-Man still have cards in her collection. In the Great Lakes Xmas special, she is shown flying a small gyrocopter called a Squirrel gig, and mentions it was a gift from Great Lakes Avengers teammates Big Bertha. This reappears in Deadpool Great Lakes Initiative Summer Fun Spectacular, used as a way of infiltrating Doctor Doom's castle. The first version was a standard gyrocopter, while it is later shown as a more stylized superhero helicopter, including squirrel-styled bodywork. Squirrel Girl is shown as being able to fly the craft expertly, including through the anti-aircraft defenses surrounding Castle Doom, crediting this to her squirrel agility. In The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, she also temporarily obtains a set of armor based on pieces of Iron Man's modular armor that reshapes to fit her, including her tail. The same series also retcons her status as a mutant, stating that her powers are a result of an unspecified something relating to her RNA or DNA, and that she is medically and legally distinct from being a mutant. That's something that they could maybe expand on. I don't know. And in the graphic novel The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl Beats Up the Marvel Universe, she is shown as being worthy of wielding Mjolnir, becoming Squirrel Thor when she does so. Another ability showcase in The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl is Doreen's enhanced jaw strength. Due to her proportional squirrel abilities, she can bite with 1,085,000 pounds of pressure. This gives her the ability to bite through solid steel, and not just wood as she thought before. So, yeah, that's kind of crazy. Alright, fun facts. Yugo Networks listed Squirrel Girl as one of their women we're ashamed to be attracted to, and put Squirrel Girl as one of the more questionable D-list superheroes that they still loved anyway. GameZone's Ben Perley has stated that Squirrel Girl is one of the characters he'd want to see in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as downloadable content. In 2022, Screen Rant included Squirrel Girl in their top 10 female Marvel heroes that should come to the MCU list. I agree. Doreen Green makes a cameo appearance in the Disney California Adventure ride Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure, as one of the new engineers featured in the Worldwide Engineering Brigade program. Squirrel Girl appears in Marvel Rising media franchise. This began with the 2018 Marvel Rising Secret Warriors made-for-television film. The film is followed by 5 animated specials over the course of 2019, which include Chasing Ghosts, Heart of Iron, Battle of the Bands, Operation Shuri, and Playing with Fire. A Squirrel Girl doll was a Target exclusive in the Marvel Rising line. Squirrel Girl also made a brief appearance in a modified costume in the Fantastic Four World's Greatest Hero episode titled The Cure. And in the episode, the Thing had been cured of his condition, and the team was holding auditions for potential replacements, which included Flatman, Frogman, Texas Twister, Captain Ultra, and the eventual winner She-Hulk. Squirrel Girl's audition consisted of her sliding into the center of the audition area and shouting, "Ta-da!" with her squirrels both accompanying her and swarming the table at which the Fantastic Four were sitting. She was immediately rejected. Squirrel Girl also appears in the 3rd season of Ultimate Spider-Man in the episode Agent Venom. She can be seen as one of the young superheroes that S.H.I.E.L.D. is monitoring. And in the episode The Next Iron Spider, she appears at the beginning, defeating Juggernaut with her squirrel army. Her squirrels Tippy Toe, Monkey Joe, and Mr. Lieberman also appear. In the episode S.H.I.E.L.D. Academy, she's seen as a student at the Triskelion S.H.I.E.L.D. Academy. And in the episode Burrito Run, Squirrel Girl sneaks out after hours for late night burritos with Spider-Man and Power Man, and along the way they contend with some of Spider-Man's enemies. In the episode Nightmare on Christmas, she appears in a S.H.I.E.L.D. base, hibernating with her squirrels when Spider-Man comes in and asks her where her teammates are. In the 4th season episode Agent Webb, she is seen flying kites on the beach with several squirrels. And in the 2-part finale Graduation Day, Squirrel Girl joins her fellow heroes in helping Spider-Man to protect Aunt May and defeat the Sinister Six members, Kraven the Hunter and Vulture. Though it is part of a trap Dr. Octopus is set to capture all the heroes in a contracting shield. And after being freed, Squirrel graduates from the Shield Academy alongside her friends. Alright. Milana Vainthrope was to star as Squirrel in the live-action Marvel New Warrior series. However, the series was canceled during production. That is the girl from the AT&T commercials. Very cute, very adorable. Would make a great Squirrel Girl. Not necessarily my pick, I'll get into that later, but not a bad pick. Squirrel Girl is also a playable character in the games Marvel Superhero Squad Online, Marvel Heroes, and Lego Marvel Superheroes. She's also in the Marvel Superhero Squad Comic Combat as a playable character, an unlockable character in Marvel's Avengers Alliance, a playable character in Lego's Marvel's Avengers, playable character in Marvel Feature Fight, Marvel Contest of Champion, and she appears on the Marvel's Women of Power downloadable content Pinball FX2. She's also a selectable character in Marvel Puzzle Quest and a playable character in Marvel Strike Force. So, yeah, she's got a lot of appearances. Like, she is, for someone that's normally pretty obscure, for fans, she has quite the exposure, which is great. Because like I said, I love Squirrel Girl. I think she's amazing. My wife did cosplay for a while, and I wanted her to do Squirrel Girl because I thought it was awesome. And yeah, so yeah, but that's what that is. Okay, but let's get into my favorite part. But before we do, I'm sorry, let me just recap everything. Like I said, you can always reach out to me via email at b4itall. That's b, the number 4, it all. So b4itall at yahoo.com. You can catch me on Twitter or Instagram under superdeepdive. And in just maybe a couple days, you can catch me on YouTube under superherodeepdive because I was banned for a week. And this happened like on a Wednesday, so probably won't be till Thursday sometime. Or Wednesday evening, I don't know. But yeah, so sorry about that. I've learned my lesson. I was bad, I guess. No more regular memes, but I do post superhero memes. I was posting them every day throughout the week on YouTube, and until they stop me. But I'm going to do that again because those have always been fine, and those have always been YouTube friendly. So yeah, I'll learn my lesson. But let's get into the power expansion part. This is where I go in and say, do they need a movie? Do they need an animated series, a live action series, a new comic series? Whatever they need. What would the storyline be? What could we do with it? Who would we cast? All that good stuff. This is where I definitely encourage you guys to interact with me because I love having conversations on these. So like I said before, I actually have in my possession the first issue that Squirrel Girl was in, where she teamed up with Iron Man, defeated Doctor Doom by hoarding him with a bunch of squirrels. I've always been a fan of her because she's always been written like a superhero fan that actually became a superhero. And I love that. So I've wanted to do a deep dive on her for a long time, and I think I finally got a good idea for her. And the reason I haven't done it is because I couldn't think of anything really solid to work with, but I think I've got something. I'm going to get into the casting first. So whenever I think of Squirrel Girl, I immediately think of Anna Kendrick. Sorry Milana Vainthrope, sorry ATT lady. Anna Kendrick's got my heart for this one. I think she's got a good look. I saw like a fan edit or something where they did a photo manipulation and turned her into Squirrel Girl, and it was amazing looking. She's also got like the perfect kind of sense of humor for it, where it's a little sarcastic and dry, and I like that. I think that can work well for Squirrel Girl. And I also think of shows like The Office when it comes to Squirrel Girl, like with that kind of mockumentary style. Like I still want her to be a nanny for the Avengers, not just Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. I want her to be a nanny for superheroes. Like she can do this, like, you know, in the latest movies we have, you know, Thor has a child. You know, in Endgame, Iron Man still had his daughter when he died. So, you know, she's still around. So we have that. You know, I haven't seen the Black Panther movie yet. I'm sorry. I've been so busy lately getting banned from YouTube that I haven't found the time. But you know, like Clint Barton has kids, you know, that we've seen in Hawkeye and stuff. So there's lots of things that she can be seen babysitting, basically babysitting all of them. She can talk about her own adventures. She can throw in things, and within Anna Kendrick's sense of humor, it could be comedy gold. Like just imagine Squirrel Girl breaking the fourth wall, kind of like She-Hulk, but with throwbacks to other Marvel movies. Like we can even put her in the background. Like what if, like in Endgame, where Steve Rogers was in the park bench at the end, like all old and wrinkly. What if she ran into him at some point, like that? Like that can be amazingly awesome, and if done right, really reignite that superhero burnout that's been being reported lately. A lot of people are loving the superhero movies. I absolutely love all the superhero content, but I'll be honest, it's hard to keep up with it all. It's really hard to keep up with it all. So, you know, I have a friend, good friend of the show, and we talk offline and stuff, named Cyrenix. He's made a bunch of requests in. You know, he will watch them. He will watch the movies like the night before. He'll watch the episodes like when he wakes up. Like he loves the series, and I love him for it, because we'll talk back and forth and throw different kind of theories out there. But man, it's so hard for me to keep up with it all. And that's mainly because I have a family, you know, so we like to watch some of these together. Some they don't care about, so I'll watch on my own, but then that's also a matter of time of doing that. I work from home, so I can usually do it during the day while I'm working, but if I can't pay attention to it very well because I'm working, so I just hear the things. So I may miss things. I have to go, and it's just crazy. It takes a lot of work to keep up with Marvel and DC and all the other superhero shows out there. But I love them. It's good, but I do understand where some people have been saying that they've gotten burnt out from it all. And it's just because there's so much going on at any given time. So something like this, it could be a breath of fresh air and could help reignite it. And Squirrel Girl's amazing. You know, she is a good example for kids as well. Because a lot of times, like when she was fighting Kraven the Hunter, she actually listened to what his concerns were and then challenged him to go hunt like big sea monsters and stuff that are mythical, and you know, to where he's getting the challenge, and she's saving a bunch of squirrels and keeping people safe. So, you know, that's what I have with that. I'd love to hear what you guys think of it. How would you build Squirrel Girl? As far as a series or a movie, what would you like to see her in? Who would you like to cast for? Is it someone other than the AT&T lady or Anna Kendrick? Let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. Like I said, on YouTube, I'm listed under Superhero Deep Dive. Comment, like, subscribe. Help me grow the channel. If I can get 500 subscribers, I'll do a giveaway. And then I'll do another giveaway at 1,000. But it all depends on you guys, because I can't do this alone. I need your help, and I love the community. You can catch me on Instagram and Twitter under Super Deep Dive, and I use the hashtag Superhero Deep Dive. And you can email me directly anytime at B4itall, so B4itall at yahoo.com. But I think I'm gonna head out here. I've got a lot of prep for next week's 100th episode. It's gonna be a great one. I'm excited. But in the meantime, guys, I hope everyone is blessed. I hope everyone's happy. I hope everyone's safe, and I hope everyone is smart. But if you're not smart, don't get caught. See you guys later. Bye-bye.